Boston College was not much of an obstacle in a 74-56 UVA basketball win. Chris Graham here for Augusta Free Press. So, going into the game and even after the win, Virginia very much facing the possibility, very real possibility. I keep wanting to say probability. I don't want to say that yet, that it won't even get a chance to play in the 2025 ACC Tournament in Charlotte. That's where things are right now. Actually, three teams will not make the ACC Tournament this year with the conference expanding to 18 schools. So that 74-56 win over Boston College last night in JPJ was a big help towards that very low bar goal. But the way that Who's took care of business is more important here. This wasn't a narrow win over another bad team. Virginia led this one by double digits for the last 31 minutes and 49 seconds. That's a good sign, considering. As Ron Sanchez said after the game, every streak starts with one. This one broke a five-game losing streak for UVA. Now, this is where I'll throw some water on things before we get too excited. Uh, Virginia's offense looks so good, but BC defensively not very good. Ranked 231st in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, according to Ken Palm. And they certainly played down to that ranking last night. Virginia shot 52% from the field, 55% from three, 11 of 20, made 9 of 15 in the first half, uh, at the end of which Virginia led by 18, and it never really got anywhere close in the second half. Virginia was playing downhill on the offensive end for long stretches in this game. When I talk about playing downhill, you're dictating. You're not, the last few games Virginia had felt like was throwing the ball around the perimeter. The ball was 30 feet from the basket or thereabouts for long stretches of shot clock. Last night, even though Virginia still had a usual Tony Bennett tempo game, 58 possessions in this game for UVA, which is actually lower than the average pace for this UVA team, which is the slowest pace in the country. It felt like that during the long possessions that BC was on its heels. Virginia was attacking inside of that 30-foot mark around the perimeter in the lane, moving the ball around and forcing BC to compensate by running helter-skelter around the floor, creating openings, creating those open shots for threes, getting some post dumps for some good back to the basket traditional post play, getting into the rim, getting some good mid range shots. There are such things, and so that kind of went away a little bit in the second half. BC did apply more ball pressure at times in the second half. But by and large, Virginia played really well offensively in this one, and it's the first time again in a while. To me, felt like, especially the Louisville game, Virginia was, setting up the offense and running so much of his offense so far away from the basket that there's really no pressure on the defense. You get the shot at the end of a shot clock when the ball's 30 feet away from the basket most of the time. You're going to be shooting contested threes, contested mid-range jumpers, and in this one, Virginia got a lot of quality looks. Better dribble penetration, more rhythm with ball movement. All led to open shots on the perimeter, particularly for Isaac McNeely, who was 6 of 9 from three. We got the good McNeely last night. He had been 1 of 11 from three in his last two games, 5 of 18 from the floor overall. Last night, 21 points, 7 of 10. He made his only 2-point shot, which was an and one. So every time he scored, he scored in threes last night. Um, this was McNeely after the game. He said, "We haven't shot the ball particularly well the past couple of games, so it's nice to see our first few shots go down. I know for me in particular, as a shooter, he was 4 for 4 from three at the start. His first four shots in the first half from three were all makes. He said, I know for me in particular, as a shooter, you like to see your first couple go down, and then you start hunting your shot more, and he definitely did that last night. It was definitely good to get a few shots to go down. I think it just kind of catapulted our offense for the rest of the game. We were flowing, moving the ball well. We just played really well on the offensive end. Also playing well was Andrew Rohde, 16 points, 5 of 6 field goals, 2 of 2 from three, 4 of 4 at the foul line, 6 assists, 0 turnovers in 30 minutes. You can't have a much cleaner game than that. He missed one shot in the game. There was an odd sequence of about a 45-second stretch, two ejections, and I had to think about this. And I don't remember the last time I saw an ejection in a UVA game in JPJ or a game that I was in attendance at. I'm sure there has been. I just don't remember it right off. And then we saw two in about a 45-second stretch. Donald Hand Jr., the son of former Virginia great Donald Hand, who was in attendance last night for obvious reasons. Hand was thrown out of the game after a hard foul on Andrew Rohde at the 16:31 mark of the second half. And then Elijah Saunders at the 15, what was it, the 15:43 mark was ejected for an elbow on a rebound, and it was obvious. I did not. I still haven't seen what Donald Hand was assessed for. Jason Williford, UVA assistant coach, jumped up off the bench as soon as he saw it. I caught out of the corner of my eye. Like I don't know what happened, but Williford is flaming mad about it. And the refs took a long time to look over the Donald Hand Jr. Before play before calling it a flagrant two. Didn't take very long with the Saunders. We all saw it on the when they played up on the big screen on the scoreboard. Yeah, he's going to be tossed here, and so. I didn't get a chance to. The media was not made given availability to Saunders after the game. Um, Next topic, owning the boards. Saunders only played 19 minutes, but he had 6 rebounds in the game. He was one of 3 UVA bigs with 6 rebounds. Freshman Jacob Kofi, sophomore Blake Buchanan also had 6 rebounds. UVA had a 30 to 23 rebound advantage. And more importantly, on the defense rebound ledger, you don't just look at the raw number there. You have to kind of break it down, offensive versus defensive on both sides. This is where you really get a sense of the team's effectiveness rebounding. Virginia had an 85.2% defensive rebound rate, 23 defensive rebounds, just 4 offensive rebounds for BC. There was a rough 4 game stretch recently where the Virginia team only had a 59.7% defensive rebound rate. 85.2 versus 59.7. The last 3 games, though, Virginia has been averaging 76.8% defensive rebound percentage, and that's what I looked at the numbers. The good UVA teams of past years had similar rates. The 2019 national champions, the 2016 Elite Eight team. So those did that over the course of a whole season. This is 3 games. But we'll take what we get here. Um, Even Anthony Robinson, limited minutes off the bench, he had 4 rebounds. So you get rebounds. The Virginia defense is set up. You get a stop. You got to clean those boards. Virginia doesn't offensive rebound a lot to try to control tempo for the other side. So if you're not going to offensive rebound a lot, you can't let the other side offensive rebound a lot. That was a big factor for a few games, but now it looks like Virginia's figured some things out there. All right, going forward. Next up for Virginia is Notre Dame on Saturday at 6:30. Weird start time. Notre Dame 8-10, 2-5 in the ACC. This is another must win in terms of ACC tournament qualifications. This is a weird thing for UVA basketball fans to be thinking about. We need it to get an invite to our own conference tournament, but that's the way it is. It's a low bar. But Notre Dame on Saturday. Then next week it's Miami at Miami, and then Virginia Tech back at home on Saturday of next week. Then it's at Pitt. I think you chalk that one up probably in the wrong direction. Pitt's playing well. I mean, I don't know. But it's at Pitt. Then it's Georgia Tech at home and at Virginia Tech. This next 6 game stretch, if you're thinking just about ACC tournament, which is all I'm thinking about now, you need at least 3 of those 6, and probably I mean, it wouldn't hurt to get 4. Right now, Virginia's 2-6 in the ACC. If they can be at least 5-9 in the ACC going in, because the closing stretch is tough. After the 15th ACC game, after this stretch I just laid out for you, is a Duke home game on February 17th. I wear orange and blue colored glasses. At least what I see that comes out of my glasses is orange and blue. I'm not seeing a win over Duke. Then it's at North Carolina, which is another tough one just because it's on the road at Carolina. So, that's those 2 games are going to be that's going to be a murder week right there. So, 5-9, 6-8. I mean, I think the magic number I'm looking at to get to a feeling good about a 15 seed in this ACC tournament. I can't believe I'm saying that again. It's probably 7. I mean, it might be, and it might end up being 6 or 5, but if I'm putting a big number on the chalkboard, the dry erase board. I'm saying 7 is what I'm looking at. So that's 5 more. That'd be and right now at 2-6, that would be a 5-7 finish. For this Virginia team, that's probably asking for something. So going to need some wins coming up. Going to definitely need this Notre Dame win. This week the timing is off a bit. It's just now Wednesday. We played a Tuesday midweek game for the first time in a while. So I got a little bit of time to breathe in terms of getting that Notre Dame preview together, but we'll get a good look at Notre Dame. I got to watch them a little bit a week or two ago when they were playing Duke at Duke. Uh, Made it interesting at the end. So, I didn't really watch that one for scouting. I watched it more just to see the score. There's different ways to watch a game, and so I don't really have a feel for the X's and O's and that kind of thing. But I do know that they were down big. It was like 2.5 minutes to go. They were down like 16 or 18, made it four in the last minute. So get your attention when you just see that kind of thing. So even just looking at results, it's still that's one that stands out. This is not going to obviously be an easy one for Virginia. Notre Dame is playing better than they were back in November and December. But again, that's Saturday at 6:30. Get you ready for that one. And we'll see what else we get into. Hey, if you have any questions for me, any comments, anything you want me to look into, UVA basketball wise, UVA football wise, anything else, please feel free to drop me a line at chris@augustafreepress.com.